Will the police be involved in that leadership group? And what is your vision to minimize the animus you've talked about? Can we work together with the police? Because, as you said, if we support our young people, we won't need as many police. And so could you talk a little bit about your vision for coming together?
Well, you're talking about a lot of different levels, so let's start at a very basic on-the-ground level. The police chief of Oakland is trying to get every police officer to walk at least half an hour a day somewhere, including people who are in offices. We're trying to get them out and patrol once a week. We're trying to get police officers who are in their cars all the time on the street. And as I told you earlier, that this year when we had our beat officers, they were required to visit schools in their beat and to develop a relationship. I think that by having more forums where young people and the police come together. So I definitely, when Chief Batts first came, he was talking about doing a curfew. And I said, you know, Chief Batts, why don't you meet with the All-City Council first, right? And at least meet with the student. Why, don't let the first thing be out of your mouth that you want to this is a hot point issue for them, and let's see if you can build some. So I really believe in showing young people some respect and having the dialogue and that conversation. So a little bit what I talked about in terms of All City Council, I'd like us to use that forum. I'd like to have police officers go and talk to them about the key issues and violence, et cetera. I also think that, so just on a very, very basic neighborhood, block by block, we're trying to change the way the police in the city interact with those citizens of Oakland. When I was elected, there were not even zones. On a regular patrol day, and when I was riding along with cops, we'd be in North Oakland at one call, and I could be in East Oakland next one, and ended up near my home in Central Oakland at the end. And what we tried to do is divide. First they divided into 3, then to 6, and now the chief wants cops to stay within maybe 5 beats, so they get to know the people, and so when they're walking and have an issue that they're dealing with, each officer have at least one issue that they're dealing with where they have to interact with the community and develop those ties. Now for young people, I think, again, we need to have cops visit the schools, get to be known at the schools, and know the student leaders. We need to do it on a citywide level. I also think that we need to have a pretty aggressive program to recruit cops. Another thing that the Pueblo study said that kids who had some interaction with the police were more open to considering being police, right? And so that's an important goal, that we have some regular interaction. Because what really struck me when I met with kids, I think 2 summers ago now, about the curfew, is that they absolutely, these were the student body leaders, they absolutely did not trust the police. They'd never had one good interaction with the police. We're not talking about the kids who are on 98th on the corner. We're talking about kids who were the student body presidents and leaders. And that was pretty shocking for me, and that was why I've been pushing so hard, because when I started as a school board member, at least we had the DARE program, so when they were little, they got to meet at least one cop. But that's been a program gone for a long time, and I realized a whole generation of kids have grown up who've never talked to the police in a neutral or positive situation. So we have to change that.
And I'm just wondering how and if you will include youth in the youth policy process, giving them leadership opportunities to speak out and have their voices heard on these policies that so much affect them. I'm specifically speaking to high school students, so older youth, maybe youth under 18.
I think that's sort of what I was discussing with both having an expanded all-city council and then within the neighborhoods, making sure that police go introduce themselves at schools and meet the student leadership groups, particularly at the middle school and the high school level, that they actually go and talk to them and have that formal relationship. I think that in general, I see and would like to see that school assembly methods be used at high schools in particular to involve young people in major issues. So, for instance, I know when I was a parent and a school board member and we had violence on campus, we've closed down the system a couple of times during that time. After the Rodney King incident, I think this recent incident with the whole Meserly issue would have been a good time to have a school-wide systems of forums and to use that as an opportunity to talk about violence and talk about the relationships between the police and the youth. Maybe with the upcoming verdict, this would be an opportunity. I should talk to Tony about this. To have what we used to call that this was a learning moment, right? That when everything's on your mind, that this is an opportunity to talk about what's peace, what's justice, what's violence, what are our relationships with the police, et cetera. And so I'm very much interested in doing things like that, maybe taking a topic each year and meeting, having a citywide dialogue on it like that. Let me just let me be very, very quick because I'm really late for another meeting. You know, I think those of you who you're going to understand, interview the 3 top candidates here, and you've been very polite and whatever. So, so beyond the process, for those of you who I've worked with, this is a dead heat election. Your issues are particularly maybe really affected by who the next mayor is and who they owe their allegiance to. And you know, we've been just told now that the California Prison Guards Union's PAC is going to, quote unquote, go over the expenditure so an unbridled amount of money can be spent on the part of my opponent. I am amazed that, I'm not amazed, but this is what I believe in, and you know, I've had a charmed political life. I was never expected to win any of my elections. I was told when I ran for school board that they'd never elected a Democrat, much less a non-white Democrat, and I was elected to become the first Asian American school board member. I was outspent 2-1 by developers when I ran for the city council, was not expected to win, and I won that race. I was told a year ago that a certain person was going to be mayor and that nobody could take him on. I am now in the dead heat. I probably spent 5% of what he's spent in this race. I'm doing a tough grassroots campaign. I'm talking about your issues. And so I would ask for people who care about young people, and if you want a mayor who knows these issues, who fought for most of the reforms that you were talking about today. I helped write Measure D. I helped support the original Kids First. I wrote Measure Y and have been the champion of its intervention programs, and I have been defending it for this campaign, whether it's been good for me politically or not. You know, it is very close to poll, and I'm come out front for BB, and I helped write BB because I think these are the programs that are making a difference. These are the programs that allow us to have a balance between intervention and prevention and policing. I don't believe that Oakland is a city that wants to just have a police and fire budget. I think it is a city that cares about its kids and is willing to do the smart thing to invest in young people, and that wants a balance. Yes, we want police and we want more police, but not at an unbridled cost so that we'll never have enough police, and quite frankly, it will eat up every other social and community service in the city. And so I want to thank you for your time, and I want to ask you personally to get involved in this campaign one way or the other. Thank you.